What's going on, folks? Good evening, Sunday evening. It is September 13th, 2020, 9:16 p.m. West Coast time. We've still got some interference going on there at Yellowstone National Park. You can see that seismograph station there showing a drumbeat activity, if you will, of the data coming in. Some type of interference going on. I may have to look into resetting that, um, possibly picking up a different station within the region. But we'll see how it goes there as far as tomorrow goes. Taking a look at the earthquake 3D globes, the latest earthquake on the map there, a 4.6. Right around the Indonesia Islands area, as expected. A lot of activity out here, pretty old and about ready to drop off the globe. There's not a whole lot of new earthquake activity to report here, at least within the last 24 hours or so. A little bit of activity out there around the right around the North Carolina area, in that general region right there where we have seen activity over the past month or so, but no major movement out there along the East Coast. A little bit of activity off the coast of Oregon into California, and that's kind of expected there. I'm really surprised we're not seeing any type of major movement along the West Coast. 3.3 off the West Coast there, at least west of Oregon. Reason why I say that, the reason why I'm speculating, or at least making this statement, is because of this massive amount of not swarming, but tremor activity going on out here along the West Coast. Now, this is just today, folks. If you watched my last video, you've seen that I announced a major tremor movement out there along the Cascadia subduction zone. Now, this is major, and this is just today. If I were to include yesterday's activity, we're looking at a huge number of tremor movement out there along the west coast of Oregon and into Vancouver Island. Some major activity going on. I'll go ahead and see if I can add this here real quick. We'll pick out these dates. So we're looking at 12/19 to 12/14. Well, that's, I guess, including tomorrow, right? You can see the large cluster. This is huge activity going on out there along the Cascadia subduction zone. This takes up a wide area of southern Oregon. And up here along the north, too, we've seen a huge amount of activity over the last couple days there. And today, especially, we've seen a large uptick. This new activity, I guess I should say last night when I did the update video, we were only looking at activity up here in the north and activity down here in the south, kind of clustering. Now we're seeing that migrate, or at least the further movement of activity along the Cascadia subduction zone here on a wide scale throughout Washington, northern Oregon, and even into central Oregon, it looks like. So this tells me right here that we're seeing some major movement along the Cascadia subduction zone. This is tremor activity. This is not earthquake activity, but tremor movement on a large scale. It's been a while. I can honestly say it's been quite a while since we've seen some major movement like this. Kind of why we're seeing the activity off there, off the coast of Oregon right there. A little 3-pointer, 3.3, way off there in the Blanco fracture zone. Okay, so technically we got the Juan de Fuca plate, right? The Cascadia subduction zone. It's a mega thrust area that we need to watch, and we will continue to watch, obviously. That is subducting. We got the Juan de Fuca plate subducting underneath the North American plate here, and it's that activity that you see is I don't want to go into too much detail tonight because I've done it a lot of times in my videos. That this activity down here is not at the surface, but way down deep below the ground, way below the ground, where movement, tremor, if you will, is taking place down there. And that's the subducting area. The oh man, what's the word for it? The slippage area, I guess, if you will. not the locked section, right? The locked section kind of sits off here shore, and that's a problem when it comes to the future of the West Coast. The locked section 6 sits out here, well off the coast here, folks. But while we're seeing subduction here along the Cascadia subduction zone, that tells me right there that activity is being backed up here. Pressure is continuing to increase out here along the Cascadia subduction zone. That locked section, not the subducting area right here, not the slow slippage area, if you will. But we're definitely seeing some major movement taking place out here along Oregon and Washington on a large scale, more so than last night for sure. And kind of, like I said, we're kind of seeing some results of that with this surface earthquake here with this 3.3 off the coast. Just tell me right there that some activity is building up, back building out here along the west. You got this area right here subducting, right? This whole Juan de Fuca plate subducting this way to the east, if you will, while built up pressure continues along the Cascadia subduction zone here. It's just a matter of time before this thing pops. When it will, who knows? But definitely good to keep an eye on the activity with this large-scale movement going on. I mean, that just kind of blows me away. And I've been watching this activity for quite some time. We're looking at 1,674 epicenters just today along the Cascadia subduction zone. Here's the M energy released over here on the scales. And there's a lot, folks. I'm not going to go through all of those right there. But there's definitely a lot of slippage going on along the Cascadia subduction zone, which ultimately, folks, in your mind's eye, ultimately puts pressure on the Cascadia subduction zone, the locked section out here, folks. That's concerning. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on and monitor very, very closely out there, especially when we're seeing this on a wide scale matter. Last night I'd seen something going on. That's kind of why I made that video about it, kind of made that title about the Cascadia subduction zone. A lot of tremor going on, more so tonight. And we can see this obviously with the activity there around Seattle through Portland area. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time, folks. California, looking down south here. Let's go ahead and shoot down south. Not a whole lot of above 2.5 earthquakes taking place. We have to go to the microscale range to see the activity. And even so, down here, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of new activity, I would say, from last night's update. Your typical Ridgecrest earthquake activity and Nevada earthquake activity taking place. Up here in Idaho, you're seeing a few quakes. Yellowstone National Park, let's go ahead and take a look at that Yellowstone area real quick. Not a whole lot to report. Looks like maybe a localized quake there in the northwest corner of the park. And this is kind of what I mentioned about swarms influencing other areas of the park here. Sometimes they can cause other earthquake activity. We've seen the swarm that took place here a few days ago, right around the the southwest corner of the Lake Yellowstone area, right around Grant Village area. That's relatively quiet today, but sometimes we can see an uptick in other areas around the park due to a specific swarm, and I'm kind of monitoring this area towards the northwest. We'll keep an eye on that there. So it's man, I tell you what, it's pretty crazy. 2020 is absolutely nuts right now. I don't even know what to say. But oh, that's right, we got to go back to earthquake history, right? I almost forgot. This day in earthquake history right here. Let's go ahead and check that out here real quick. Today in earthquake history. That's for the 14th because we're looking at the UTC time. Let's go ahead and go over here to let's see here, where to go. 13th. I'm going to go 13th. Today in earthquake history, 6.0 out there. I think we covered this a little bit ago. With a lot of large activity out there around the Mediterranean Sea. Greece can see some pretty good sized earthquakes, as they've seen a 6.0 earthquake on this date back in 1986, September 13th, 1986 to be exact. A few fatalities were reported and some injuries, and definitely did some damage out there around the region. Also felt in Athens and in the central Greece area. 6.3 earthquake occurred also in this day in earthquake history, 1984, right around the eastern Honshu, Japan region. It looks like it did unfortunately cause some fatalities out there in Japan. Of course, Japan, obviously along the subducting area with the Pacific Plate and whatnot, you see some major earthquakes out there on a regular intervals, I should say. Regular occurrences out there. Not a good thing, but you know, it's a good thing that we live on an active planet. Let me tell you, if it was not active, we would be looking at some major issues out there, folks. Please stay safe out there. A lot of activity occurring out there along the west coast that we are not aware of on the surface. The subducting area of the Cascadia subduction zone, very, very active last night and today. So just be on guard. I live out here in Northern California, and I tell you what, if we were to get a big earthquake out here along the Cascadia subduction zone, probably bring the stream down. I'd lose internet and power, no doubt. So just be prepared out here, folks. A little bit of earthquake activity showing up on the Lake Yellowstone seismograph station there, so kind of monitoring that. The interference that was taking place there, kind of a drum beat activity going on. You know, it's I'm pretty sure that's interference of some type. If I have to, I will find a different Yellowstone station to bring up. Just not good when we're just getting interference showing up there. I kind of want to see earthquake activity instead of the regular drum beat interference. So have a good night, folks. We're going to jump off here. Make sure you please subscribe, like the channel. Okay, we want to see this channel grow. I provide facts out here, folks, for everyone that's viewing the channel. I do not fearmonger. I do not wish to fearmonger, and that's something I will commit to, obviously in the past and here in the future. So when I talk about the activity occurring out there in Yellowstone or along the Cascadia subduction zone, it's noteworthy. It's definitely noteworthy. It's not fear-mongering, but it's definitely noteworthy to announce on any of my videos I do, just because of the multitude of tremor that's being picked up right now along the Cascadia subduction zone. Have a good night, folks.